The full moon shone through the trees, casting its light upon the old abandoned sanitarium. The night was chilly. It was Saturday night. 10:40 marked the clock, and a low-lying fog enveloped the surroundings, adding an air of mystery to the already spine-chilling scene. I walked reluctantly towards the main entrance of the abandoned psychiatric hospital, wrapping my coat tighter around me. My name is Sarah, and I was about to embark on an adventure that would stir the deepest fears within me. Can't we just turn back and leave? My friend Rachel's voice sounded nervous in the chilly night air. I have a bad feeling about this. I hesitated for a moment, my eyes scanning the foreboding structure before us. We can't back out now, I replied, trying to sound braver than I felt. We lost the bet, and the guys won't let us forget it. We have to spend one night here and record it all. I could see the nervousness in her eyes, mirroring my own fears. Stories of haunted patients wandering the corridors echoed in my mind, sending shivers down my spine. The hospital, with its broken windows and stained walls, seemed like a place where nightmares came to life. As we approached the main entrance, the concrete floor seemed to echo our hesitant steps, as if the building itself was warning us of the danger that awaited. The moon, high in the sky, cast sinister shadows that danced on the walls, as if inviting us to enter a realm of terror. My breath caught in my throat as I stepped through the main door. The lobby was shrouded in darkness, with only the moonlight's beams illuminating our way. I could feel the presence of the past, as if the spirits of the unfortunate souls who once inhabited this place were watching, judging our frivolous motivations. Let's keep going, Rachel said, her voice steady despite the tremble in her hands. The sooner we start, the sooner we'll finish. I nodded, my curiosity battling against my growing fear. As we ventured deeper into the hospital, the silence seemed alive, laden with the echoes of screams and laments. I knew this night would test our nerves, but I was determined to face my fears and uncover the hidden secrets within this abandon. As Rachel and I ventured further into the hospital, the air felt heavier, laden with a dark atmosphere. The sound of our footsteps reverberated through the empty corridors, echoing eerily. The treatment rooms, with their rusty metal beds and open cabinets, seemed to await the return of the unhappy patients. My heart raced as I imagined the screams and laments that once echoed off these walls. Look at this, Rachel said, stopping in front of a room in disarray. The bed was overturned, pillows torn, and papers scattered on the floor. It looks like someone has been here recently. I felt a chill run down my spine, wondering if the rumors of paranormal activity in the hospital could be true. It could be just the wind, I suggested, though my voice sounded unconvincing even to myself. We continued our exploration, our eyes alert for any sign of movement in the shadows. The feeling of being watched grew with each step we took. I filmed everything with my camera, capturing the dancing shadows and dark corners, hoping to capture something supernatural. We entered a file room, its cabinets open and files scattered on the floor, as if someone had frantically searched through them. I picked up one of the files, flipping through it quickly. This is strange, I commented. Why would anyone want these old records? Rachel, who was filming the room, replied, I don't know, but it's definitely odd. Let's keep going. The deeper we go, the closer we are to uncovering the secrets of this place. We climbed the stairs, our footsteps echoing in the lobby below. The upper floor seemed even more disturbing, with its isolation rooms and reinforced doors. That was when we heard a sound that made our hearts stop. Footsteps echoing in the corridors. Rachel grabbed my arm, her eyes wide with fear. Did you hear that? I nodded, my throat too dry to speak. We were not alone. Something or someone was up there with us. The two friends stood frozen, our eyes searching the darkness for any sign of movement. The footsteps had ceased, but the feeling of being watched persisted, as if there were invisible eyes peering at us. Maybe we should go, I whispered, my heart hammering in my chest. Whoever or whatever is here doesn't seem friendly. Emma hesitated, her gaze torn between curiosity and fear. Just a little longer, she pleaded. I want to find out who or what is causing these strange occurrences. Let's be brave, face our fears and uncover the secrets of this place. With hesitant steps, we continued our exploration, moving cautiously through the surrounding darkness. The atmosphere was heavy, as if we were walking towards a chilling revelation. Our flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing shadowy corners and abandoned rooms. That was when I noticed a change in temperature. "Wait," I whispered, stopping abruptly. "It's getting colder, and look at the windows, they're fogged up." Emma nodded, her eyes reflecting the growing unease within her. "This is strange. It seems like something supernatural is happening." Before we could consider the situation further, a sudden noise came from a nearby room, as if something heavy had fallen to the floor. Our hearts leaped in our chests, and without thinking, we ran towards the sound. In the room, a hooded figure stood with its back to us, bent over something on the floor. As the figure slowly turned, its hood fell, revealing a pale, eyeless face, a chilling sight. A scream caught in my throat as I faced the dark holes where eyes should have been. The figure raised its skeletal hand towards us, pointing towards the door. The message was clear. It was time for us to leave. Without hesitation, Emma and I turned and ran back down the corridor, our hearts pounding in our chests. We could feel the sinister presence of the hooded figure chasing us relentlessly through the shadows. "Where do we go?" I cried out, my eyes frantically searching for an escape route. "Out!" shouted Emma. "We have to get out of here." We ran through the corridors, turning corners, our feet pounding on the marble steps. The hooded figure seemed to be gaining on us, its ghostly presence pursuing us relentlessly. In a moment of panic, I stumbled and fell, my camera sliding across the floor. I quickly got to my feet, clutching the camera tightly, determined not to leave behind the only proof of our terrifying experience. "Keep going, we're almost there," Emma encouraged, reaching out to help me up. We climbed the stairs, our footsteps echoing in the lobby below. The hooded figure seemed closer now, its sinister presence filling the corridor behind us. Finally, we reached the main door, the full moon shining through the windows, offering a glimpse of hope. We pushed the door with all our might, only to find it locked. "No!" I cried out, pounding on the door in frustration. Emma, ever quick thinking, looked around and pointed to a nearby broken window. "Through here, it's our only chance." We needed no further encouragement. We climbed through the window, cutting our hands on the broken edges. Once outside, we ran towards the car, constantly looking over our shoulders, fearing to see the hooded figure emerging from the shadows. I jumped into the car, started the engine, and sped away, leaving the old hospital behind. As we drove away, the feeling of terror slowly diminished. We had escaped, carrying with us a chilling tale, a story of echoes from the past and dark revelations. The night had fallen, shrouding everything in its mysterious darkness, when I, Luke, and my friends, Ethan, Daniel, and Alice, decided to embark on a forbidden adventure in the notorious abandoned hospital, Eloise, located deep in the southeastern part of Michigan. The place had a sinister reputation and was known for its true scary stories. Eager for thrills and thirsty to explore the unknown, we ventured towards our destination. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Alice asked, her voice sounding hesitant as their flashlights cast trembling lights on the ruined walls. "Of course," I replied, trying to hide the chill running down my spine. "It will be an unforgettable adventure." Eloise loomed before us like a dark sentinel, its empty windows looking like vacant eyes watching our movements. The structure was in ruins, with vegetation growing on the walls and the wind whistling through the crevices. We entered the abandoned hospital, our footsteps echoing in the decaying corridors. The moon shone through broken windows, casting strange patterns on the stained walls. Scattered papers, old medical records, created a macabre trail, leading us deeper into the heart of the haunted building. "This is creepy," commented Daniel, his voice echoing in the empty corridor, making me shiver. As we progressed through the hospital, the atmosphere became increasingly oppressive. Flashlights illuminated decaying corridors, empty rooms, and rusty medical equipment. Dust covered everything like a sheet, giving the scene a surreal quality. "Look at this," exclaimed Ethan, pointing to a pile of scattered records on the floor. We can take a look and uncover some dark secrets." We crouched down, sweeping the dust with our flashlights. The records revealed tragic stories of patients who had once inhabited those walls. Blurred names, dates, and diagnoses spoke of interrupted lives and tormented minds. "It's creepy to think that these people once walked these corridors," Alice murmured, her face reflecting the sadness of the records. We continued our exploration, turning a corner and encountering a scene of devastation. The room before us was in ruins, with broken furniture and pieces of plaster scattered on the floor. The moon shone through a large broken window, casting an eerie light on the desolation. "This looks like a war zone," I commented, stepping carefully over the debris. That's when Ethan noticed something strange. "Hey, look there," he said, pointing to a door partially hidden by the shadow. "I think there's a tunnel or something." Intrigued, we approached, our hearts racing with the promise of a mystery. The door creaked open, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. With our hearts pounding with excitement and apprehension, we began to descend the spiral stairs, our flashlights illuminating the gloomy path. The staircase seemed endless, leading us deeper and deeper into the heart of the abandoned hospital. The dust and humidity in the air made the descent even more sinister. "This is very strange," I commented, my voice echoing off the stone walls. "Why would there be a secret tunnel here?" None of us had a satisfactory answer. The descent felt like an eternity, and the deeper we went, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. Finally, we reached the end of the stairs and came upon a set of massive wooden double doors. Light shone from underneath, indicating that the power was still on in this part of the hospital. My heart raced at the thought of what we might find on the other side. "Are you ready for this?" Alice asked, her face illuminated by the flashlight. I nodded, although my mind was full of doubts. I carefully opened the door, and a well-lit corridor revealed itself to us. The walls were stained and peeling, but the strong light and lack of dust suggested that someone or some still used this part of the building. "This isn't good," Daniel murmured, his gaze wandering down the deserted corridor. "Why is the power still on here?" And then we saw Ida's security camera, active and watching. A sense of terror engulfed us. The sight of the active security camera paralyzed us, and for a moment none of us dared to move. The idea that someone or something was observing our actions filled us with a primal fear. "What the hell is going on here?" Ethan whispered, his voice filled with dread. "I don't know, but I think we shouldn't stay," I suggested, my eyes fixed on the camera. "Let's go back and find out more about this later." Reluctantly, we retreated, closing the door behind us. The climb up the stairs seemed longer now, our imaginations running wild with the possibilities of what we might have encountered. In the days that followed, we couldn't get the experience out of our minds. We researched the hospital, uncovering its dark history and rumors of secret experiments and missing patients. The discovery of the tunnel and the security camera only added more mysteries to the legends surrounding the abandoned Eloise Hospital. We found out that the hospital had been connected to a nearby asylum, and speculations arose about the reasons behind the secret tunnel and ongoing surveillance. The stories we heard from former staff and patients only added more layers of intrigue and terror. We never returned to Eloise, but the memory of that night remained vivid in our minds. We shared our story online, becoming a part of the Eloise legend. Some called us liars, but we knew what we experienced was a frightening journey into a place haunted by the troubled spirits of the past. And so, our story becomes one more tale in the many scary stories of abandoned hospitals, serving as a reminder that there are some places that hold secrets better left unanswered. And on quiet nights, when the wind whispers through the windows, I wonder if the camera is still there, watching, guarding the dark secrets of Eloise Hospital. It was a chilly autumn night, a Sunday night, and I, Isaac, along with a group of friends, decided to do something different. We wanted to make a movie, and that night was perfect. We didn't want to go to a simple location. Instead, we opted for something a little more spine-chilling. We decided to explore a haunted site, a nearby abandoned psychiatric hospital known for its scary stories and dark past. We were excited but also nervous, as we knew this adventure could be more than we had bargained for. "Are you ready for this, Isaac?" Dylan, one of my friends, asked, seeing the hesitation on my face. I was the only one in the group who had never explored a haunted site before, and my nerves were on edge. "Of course," I replied, trying to sound confident. "Let's go. I'm just picturing the kind of scary abandoned hospital stories we'll be able to tell afterward." When we arrived, the moon was high in the sky, casting its imposing light on the old building. The hospital was a chilling sight. With its broken windows and ivy-covered walls, we could feel the history of the place, the weight of its dark past. This place was once home to so many unhappy patients. Leah, another friend of mine, whispered as we passed what looked like the children's wing. Old rusty cribs were lined up along the walls, and dark stains marred what were once colorful walls. Can you imagine the screams and despair these walls have witnessed? I swallowed hard, imagining the horrors this place had seen. Asbestos was falling from the ceilings like snow, and the atmosphere was heavy and oppressive. We knew many patients had suffered abuse here and that overcrowding was common. The idea of being trapped in this place, battling one's inner demons, was terrifying. As we made our way through the corridors, our flashlights cast trembling beams of light on the decrepit walls, revealing the extent of the hospital's abandonment. The paint was peeling, exposing the brick underneath, and the floor creaked under our feet, as if the building itself was protesting our presence. "Did you hear that?" Lisa whispered, stopping abruptly. Her face was pale in the faint light of the flashlight, her eyes wide and round, reflecting the anxiety we all felt. It sounded like a moan. I listened intently, my heart pounding in my chest. The night was silent, but there was something in the air, a sense of distress that seemed to fill every dark corner and shadowy corridor. "It could be the wind," I said, though my words sounded unconvincing even to my own ears, or maybe some animal trapped inside the building. We continued, but the feeling of being watched persisted. The hospital seemed to come alive, each creak and groan of the old pipe sounding like a signal of something sinister about to happen. The scary stories of abandoned hospitals I had heard in the past now seemed very real, and I wondered if we had made a mistake in coming here. "Hey, look at this." Dylan's excited voice broke the spell, and we gathered to see what he had found. We were in a small room, probably an office, and Dylan was holding an old record book. "I think this dates back to when the hospital was still operating. It's amazing to think that these are real ghost stories. I mean, patients who once occupied these corridors." I flipped through the book, feeling a chill run through my body. The names, dates, and medical conditions, it all seemed so tangibly real. These patients were more than just stories. They were people, each with their own struggle. "It's creepy to think that we could have been patients here," Leah murmured, her eyes scanning the yellowed pages, especially considering how easy it was to be confined in a place like this back then. As we ventured deeper into the hospital, our fears seemed amplified by the darkness and silence. Every step seemed to lead to a new scary discovery. From rusty, abandoned medical equipment to locked rooms hiding dark secrets. "I can't take this anymore," Lisa burst out, stopping suddenly. "This is too scary. I feel like there's a presence here. I can't quite explain it." I looked around, feeling a chill run down my spine. The sense of a hidden presence was overwhelming, as if we were intruding on sacred ground, profaning the secrets of the hospital. "Let's keep going," Dylan said, his voice sounding braver than he actually was. "We're just letting our imaginations get the better of us. Remember, these are just nighttime horror stories. There's nothing here but us and maybe some rats." We continued our exploration, but I couldn't shake off the sense of unease. The hospital seemed to have a life of its own, each shadow and corner hiding a threat that seemed imminent. The smell of mold and decay filled my nostrils, and I found myself imagining the patient's screams echoing through the corridors. "Hey, look here, what is this?" I called out, shining my light on a door partially hidden by ivy. "I think this might be an entrance to the basement. Maybe this is where we'll find the paranormal hospital stories we were looking for." My friend's eyes widened with excitement, and together we pushed through the overgrowth. Beyond the door, a spiral staircase led downward into the unknown darkness. We descended the stairs cautiously, the darkness seeming to envelop our senses. The air was cold and damp, and the sound of our footsteps echoed off the concrete walls. As we progressed, the sense of distress intensified, as if we were approaching the heart of the hospital's secrets. "I don't like it here," Leah whispered, her voice echoing in the confined space. "I feel like something terrible is about to happen." I swallowed hard, sensing unseen eyes upon me. The darkness seemed to pulse around us, as if it were alive. "Let's keep going," Dylan said, his voice trembling slightly. "We're almost at the bottom." When we reached the last step, a large room opened up before us. Our flashlights revealed a space filled with old, rusty medical equipment, hospital beds, and locked cabinets. The air was heavy and oppressive, as if carrying the weight of past experiences. "My God," Lisa murmured, her eyes wide with horror. "This must have been the heart of the patient's nightmare. Imagine waking up here, confined to a bed with no hope of escape." I nodded, feeling a lump in my throat. The room was steeped in despair and madness. We could feel the real ghost stories around us, the silent screams of the patients who had once occupied those beds. "I think we found what we were looking for," Dylan said, his voice low and respectful. "These are the nighttime horror stories that no one wants to tell, the tales of terror of an abandoned hospital forgotten by time." We left in silence, carrying the weight of what we had experienced. As the moonlight bathed our faces, I felt a sense of clarity. The hospital may have been abandoned, but the stories it housed would continue to live on, a somber reminder of the fragility of the human mind and the horrors that can arise in the darkness. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, you won't want to miss this next one. Click now and I'll see you there.